that a country's National Academy of Sciences still believed that bloodletting was useful to fight infection. Now imagine that that same government coordinated with social media platforms to identify and remove anyone questioning the efficacy of bloodletting. Where would the people of that country be, and how could they ever escape that practice? With no dissent, many people would continue to suffer from a lack of effective treatment. This hardly needs any hypotheticals, actually, since during the COVID pandemic, many scientists believed with high degrees of confidence that the vaccine prevented the spread of COVID-19. Any opinion challenging this was called a conspiracy, and people were banned from social media platforms for questioning or denying the science. Today, however, we know that while vaccines substantially reduce the risk of dying from COVID, we also know that the vaccine only slows but does not stop its spread. Yet, at the time when the offending idea was expressed, many insisted these opinions be removed from public view via deplatforming and censorship, and were deemed off limits on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. This approach is counterproductive and actually can be argued to be anti-science, since the very premise of science is to create a hypothesis and then put that hypothesis up to scrutiny, confront good ideas against bad ones, and continue to test what you think you know over and over again. Some might argue that this era of misinformation is different because of the internet, because of social media, and the speed and scale of communications. And yet even this argument is not new. And when contextualized in history, we see it's the same argument people made about the printing press and then the radio. It is likely that in 100 years from now, there will be ways to transmit information that is even faster and at a greater scale than anything we can conceive of today. And the internet will seem like the printing press does now. So what can be done? The article suggests a solution using an analogy of forest fires. Imagine your job is putting out fires or misinformation in an area where arsonists, people who are spreading misinformation, are always setting fires. It takes many firefighters to contain the blaze once it is burning. And if there is a lot of dry brush and kindling, the fire spreads quickly. So you have three options. You continue fighting the fires with lots of firefighters, so you call those fact checkers. 2, you could focus on the arsonists, the people who are spreading the misinformation, by alerting the town that they are the ones starting the fire and then banning or labeling them. Or 3, you could clear the kindling and the dry brush by teaching people to spot lies, think critically, and ask questions. Today, there is a lot of number 1 and a lot of number 2, but hardly any of number 3, which is probably the most important, yet the most difficult of the 3. Addressing misinformation would best be resolved by teaching people to think critically, ask questions, and spot lies with the focus on media literacy. I believe this Paris WHO event shows much promise in contributing to this third strategy, and I congratulate the Paris WHO team once again for this, and I wish you all a great conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor, for setting a great tone for our event.